Today, we have a 2-for-1 special. I'm going to answer 2 questions in this one episode, but let me not be rude. How are you? I get to batch recording these episodes and forget to speak, okay? Because it's a new day for you. How are you doing? Did you drink some water today? Have you eaten any real food today, not just caffeine? Have you been outside today? Did you get some sunshine? Did you take your vitamin D supplement today? Did you take your ADHD medicine? Did you call your mama? Return a text message? Did you do those things today? Okay, so let me read the questions. Those are things I always am like, oh yeah, I need to go do that. So I thought I would, pass that along to you. Okay, there's 2. Number 1 is, why does it feel like no one cares about me as a person? And number 2, what if I'm not special anymore? So why does it feel like no one cares about me as a person? I have clients, followers, and even friends who say they love me, but I feel so unseen. It's like everyone's so focused on what I can do for them, on my business, that they forget I'm a person. Does anyone actually care about me, or am I just what I represent to them? And then the second one of, what if I'm not special anymore? When I started, I felt like I was different, like I had something to say that no one else could. Now I feel like I'm just another entrepreneur posting the same content, saying the same things. Oh, cars are just flying out. Saying the same things, blending into the noise. What if I lost the thing that made me stand out? Because I feel like these questions were very similar. Okay, so the cars that came flying out, that's some good cards. Okay, we got the Justice card reverse. We got the High Priestess upright. And then we got reverse 6 of crystals. The Justice card is a Libra card. And it's about, right, Libras are about, most people think about them as people pleasing. Let's put that on the shelf for a minute. For them, they are about fairness and balance. It is about seeing things from multiple perspectives and not always doing the thing that's popular or doing the thing based on your emotions, but it's about leaning into the logic, the spirit of the law, the logic of the law, and being based on the rules or the boundaries that we've put forth, this would be the fair decision. The High Priestess is clocked it. I don't gotta say nothing, but I clocked it. It is about the observer, the person who sees all, knows all, very intuitive. While I don't know if this is true, I often connect this card to a Pisces energy. Notice what you're doing, paying attention, want the best for you, but you're just gonna do you. I'm a watcher. And then 6 of crystals, which is 6 of wands in a different deck. Upright is about victory after the battle and improving yourself. Reverse is still a positive card. I think about it like jealousy. Okay, what? Yeah, think about it like jealousy. And that's kind of where I was going to go with both of these questions. So why does it feel like no one cares about me as a person? And what if I'm not special anymore? Because when this happens, I say, what about your friends? Okay, any TLC fans? What about your friends? Are they your friends? Or do they really like you? Because this is real. This is real. And I want to say, especially for this first person, what if the way they care about you is based on what you can do for them? It reminds me of the men folk with the podcast mics, or just men in general, that are depicted on media, or this time of year, there's a lot of proposals and whatnot. And listen, I know somebody gonna be like, it's not all men, whatever. Listen to how they propose. Listen to the reasons why they quote unquote love the person they're proposing to. I like how you make me feel. I love how you help me to be such a better person, right? I love that the way you carry yourself and you smell good and you make me dinner and you always have the house cleaning. You work so hard and you sacrifice so much. I love what you do for me. It's not about you as a person outside of what you do for me. I believe that most of us, and I'm just going to add me in here, okay? As a society, I feel that we privilege transactional relationships above all. That 99.9% of us only believe in transactional relationships. When I say transactional, meaning I do this for you, so you do this for me. That's how you show and prove to someone that you care and you love about them, or you love them, rather, excuse me. So, especially when we get into a business dynamic where it is literally a transaction where the client pays you money in exchange for a service or knowledge or product or what have you. It's a transactional. So if we're already in a society that values transactional relationships, that's how we come to know what a relationship means. And then you double layer that with not only have a business that is based on transactions. Yes, it makes sense to me then why your clients and your followers and your friends don't see you, they see what you do for them, because we in society are taught to value transactions over anything. The pandemic showed us that people only care about, what about me? What do I get? Why do I have to sacrifice? Why do I have to put on a mask? I'm not sick. I'm fine. Not thinking that there are some people with compromised immune systems where if they get a whiff of something, it's over and they can't bounce back in the same way that you can bounce back, quote unquote, I'm fine. Or the fact that you could be carrying the COVID, whatever, and not even have symptoms, and then you're passing it around, but you're fine. And as long as you're fine, you shouldn't, nobody should infringe on your rights, right? That's an example. When I think about the astrology that's coming up for 2025, we're going to have even more examples of, with the climate change or just with politics or just with day-to-day life, that there are going to be groups of people who are suffering and other people are going to be like, well, it's not my problem. I don't have anything to do with it, because we value transactional relationships. And when we think about what was the hurricane in September that took out Tennessee, North Carolina, the mountains, people were like, whatever, it's not me. It's not that bad. It's just a little rain. That's what I mean when I say as a society, we value transactional relationships. And so I want to tell both of these people, especially this first one, yeah, what if they only care about what you represent to them? As much as possible, I want you to try to suspend judgment a little bit. What I want you to think about is what if they've been taught that's what it means to love? What if they're not trying to be harmful? I know this is hard, but go with me. What if they're not trying to be harmful? What if they're not trying to be malicious? That's what they were taught. When you love someone, when someone loves you, that means they do things for you. That means they make you look good by the degrees they have or how many followers they have or the things that you can brag about. For the people in your life, what if that's what it means to love another human? And for them, it's good. But what if you just have a different definition of what it means to love and care about a person? Maybe y'all share the meaning of transactional relationships or what it is, and you have some different experiences and some different knowledge, and so you have a different definition of what it means to be in a healthy reciprocal relationship. If we could just take it at that moment, right? Because I'm thinking about this justice card and this high priestess, right? Because justice it's not about your emotions, it's not about morality, it's about, this is how I think about it, this is how you think about it, what's the fair thing here? What if that's the way they care about you? If that's how they care about you, then the question on the table is not about if they care about me. The question on the table is, do I like and do I accept that form of care and love? Or do I want something different? Which is a tougher question, because now it takes the attention off of them and it puts it back on you. Y'all, I had no idea I was going to go this deep on this question, but I'm loving it. Right? It takes the responsibility off of them, right? Because it's easy to be in a place to be like, they just don't care. They don't appreciate me, right? It's easy to be there, indignant. It's much more challenging to be in a place where now you have to be like, what if I just no longer accept that type of love? What if that's no longer enough for me? What does that mean about me as a person? What does that mean about how I want to be in this relationship? Do I want to be in a relationship at all? Those are tougher questions, because then it forces you to get honest with yourself about how you feel and what you want, and then to act on that. And what does it mean about you when you start to distance yourself from a relationship and people are like, but what happened? Did they do something? And you're like, no, we just grew apart. That's what it means. Like, we just grew apart. We no longer care about the same things in the same ways. And to like double down on this, what happens when now they're telling their friends about like, oh, you did them wrong. Oh, you like just switched up and changed. Oh, you got some followers, you got some money, and now you don't know how to act. What if that becomes the story now? Are you willing to be misunderstood? I ask clients that all the time. Are you willing to be misunderstood if that means you get what you want? If that means you feel safe? If that means you now have room to have the relationships you want to have and the way you want to have it? We often think that we can bring people along with us, and something a friend would tell me all the time, like, everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. And that includes people you thought y'all gonna be day ones forever. Everybody can't go. Because when you start to grow in different directions and you outgrow them, to hold on to them, it's not fair to you or them. Because y'all no longer operating off of the same like blueprint of life. So then when I go to the second question about when I started, I felt like I was different, and now I just feel like I'm another entrepreneur posting the same content, saying the same things. What if I lost the thing that made me stand out? I would say, nope, you're just not saying the things you know you really want to say. Because before, this question gives me the sense then there was a time where, okay, how do I want to say this? Let me rewind and say, if you've always been saying the same thing other people have been saying, like, let's just be real, okay? Everybody, you were saying, this is not new. It didn't just start now. You've been saying the same thing that other people were saying. You just had a different perspective about it. Maybe because it was new. Maybe because the attention was new. Maybe because, I don't know. It's just, it feels good for people to like recognize you. But when your brain and your nervous system regulates and that becomes the norm, yeah, now you have more room to notice other things. And maybe you started learning different things. Maybe you started talking to different groups of people and you started to change your views or your perspectives. Like maybe you started to evolve, mature more. And how you used to say a thing is no longer how you want to say it. But now you've built this brand of this business and you feel like you have to say it. You feel like you can't grow. And if you do try to say the new thing, you feel like you get a lot of backlash. This is making me think about like Jackie Aina a couple of weeks ago. If you were on TikTok and the Super 5 and this whole situation, like it makes me think about that. Like she was pretty much saying, I can't say other things that other creators say because I'm always going to get backlash, right? And it brought up a conversation around colorism and people still, it was just a bunch of noise for a whole weekend. And I was just like, yeah. What if that's true? What if she can't say what she wants to say? But it doesn't mean she's lost the thing that made her stand out. And for you, it doesn't mean that you've lost the thing that made you stand out. It's just that you now have an awareness that you're saying things that you may no longer fully agree with or completely disagree with. And you are now you're having a cognitive dissonance, right? Cognitive dissonance is, I thought one thing was true, but now I'm being presented with evidence that another way is true. And my brain is trying to reconcile the two things. How can this thing that I knew to be true in my bones now look different because I'm being presented with different evidence? How do I make sense of this evidence that I can't argue it? Like, how can these two things be true? And it's like your brain's process of trying to decide, what am I going to believe? How am I going to move forward? How do I incorporate, if I incorporate this new evidence and information? That's what's happening. When you allow yourself to grow, when you don't make it a problem that you're growing, and you allow yourself to go out on the internet and say it with your whole chest and be willing to be misunderstood, you'll stop entertaining this conversation around, what if I'm not special anymore? So I think about the high priestess, like she knows who she is. I know who I am. And I think about the 6 of crystals, like reverse and the justice reverse. It's like, I get the sense of like, you know what you want to do. You're just afraid to do it because you are afraid of what other people are going to think about you. You are afraid that other people are going to misunderstand or misinterpret or not get it. And if you already are questioning whether they care about you or not, it's even harder to then put yourself out there and people be like, I don't agree with that. That's dumb. But y'all, this is life. This is what it means to be on this healing journey and to continuously grow and work towards being the version we've always wanted to be, is that there's going to be way more people who disagree with you, who don't understand you, who don't get you, than the people who do. But that's why you learn to be so grateful and appreciate and cultivate those relationships with people who do get it, who you do feel safe around, who you do feel a connection with, because you know from a deep level how rare it is to find those people that you can connect with in that way. And the whole like saying that relationships are seasons is true for a reason, because we're humans, we're constantly growing and changing and evolving, and we can't expect that people are going to be around forever. Now, some seasons are longer than others, but they're still seasons, and it takes work on each person's end to commit to that relationship. And this is something I have to tell myself and still have to remind myself, you can't do the work of another person. At some point, you got to sit and see the truth. They are in this relationship just like you are. They're seeing the same problems just like you are, and they're still deciding not to do anything about it. So you either have to adjust your expectations and be okay with them not doing anything about it, or you find you something else to do. You say, oh, well, our season has come to an end, and you call it quits. Okay. So for advice, we got Queen of Wands and Wheel of Fortune. Be yourself. Be bold. Show up. You cannot go wrong when you are being true to yourself. And a fire sign knows, which is what the wands represent. People gonna always talk shit, and they gonna always misunderstand. And your job is to give them something to talk about, because you just being you in your own world. And everything will work out the way it's supposed to when you do that. So that is my very deep response to that. Again, I don't know how we got here, but we are. And I would love to know y'all thoughts about that. Come join me inside of Simple Business Institute. While we do talk about business, I also help you with the mindset around this, because y'all, this is the real stuff that's making it hard to show up in business. It is not like the technical, how do I be consistent online? It's like all the other stuff surrounding it. And then if you have a question, let me know. I will talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.